Have you ever wondered why two people can begin with the same education, the same opportunities, and even the same amount of money, yet years later one lives in constant financial stress while the other enjoys freedom, confidence, and abundance? The answer is often far deeper than hard work or luck. It begins with something invisible. It begins with the beliefs you carry about money every single day. Most people spend their lives trying to change their bank account without ever changing the thoughts that created it. They believe more money will finally make them feel secure, successful, or worthy. But what if that order has always been backward? What if every financial result first takes shape in the mind before it ever appears in the world? Every decision you make, every opportunity you notice, every risk you avoid, and every goal you pursue is guided by what you quietly assume to be true about yourself and about money. If you believe wealth is difficult to achieve, your mind will constantly search for evidence to support that belief. If you assume abundance is possible and that you are capable of creating value, your attention begins to notice possibilities that once seemed invisible. The difference is not magic. It is the power of perception shaping action. Throughout this journey, you will discover why the richest people often think differently long before they earn differently, and why changing your inner conversation can transform the way you approach opportunities, challenges, and success. Stay with me until the very end, because one simple shift in the way you see yourself could completely redefine the financial future you once believed was out of reach. The greatest financial divide in the world is not created by income, education, or where you were born. It is created by the way people think. Most people believe that wealthy individuals simply have more resources, better connections, or extraordinary luck. While those factors can certainly play a role, they are rarely the foundation of lasting wealth. The real difference begins long before the first investment is made or the first successful business is built. It begins with a pattern of thinking that shapes every choice, every habit, and every response to opportunity. One person looks at uncertainty and sees danger, while another sees possibility. One focuses on what could be lost, while the other concentrates on what could be created. These two ways of thinking lead to completely different lives over time. The wealthy often view money as a tool that expands possibilities rather than as something to be feared, hoarded, or constantly worried about. They ask different questions. Instead of wondering, can I afford this? They ask, how can I create the value that makes this possible? Instead of allowing temporary setbacks to define them, they treat failure as information, a lesson that brings them closer to better decisions. This way of thinking does not ignore reality. It simply refuses to let present circumstances determine future potential. Every meaningful achievement begins as an idea accepted in the mind before it becomes visible in the world. When your thinking changes, your attention changes. When your attention changes, your actions improve. And when your actions improve consistently, your financial reality begins to reflect the person you have decided to become. By the time we finish this journey together, you may realize that the richest investment you can ever make is not in the stock market, real estate, or business, but in transforming the beliefs that silently guide every financial decision you make. Your financial future is influenced far more by the picture you hold in your mind than most people ever realize. Before every achievement, every opportunity, and every breakthrough, there is an inner image of what feels possible. Most people imagine limitations so often that those limitations begin to feel like facts. They replay thoughts of not having enough, of missing opportunities, or of believing success belongs to someone else. Without realizing it, they train their minds to recognize scarcity wherever they look. But the mind has a remarkable quality. It consistently searches for evidence that supports what you already accept as true. When you repeatedly identify yourself as someone who struggles financially, your attention naturally gravitates toward obstacles, fears, and reasons why your goals cannot be achieved. Yet the opposite is equally powerful. When you begin to see yourself as a capable, resourceful, and valuable person, your awareness starts noticing possibilities that were always present but previously ignored. You begin to recognize opportunities, meet people with fresh perspectives, and make decisions with greater confidence because your inner identity has quietly changed. This is not about pretending that challenges do not exist or ignoring practical action. It is about understanding that every action gains its strength from the belief behind it. A confident person and a doubtful person may face the same opportunity, but they respond in completely different ways because they are acting from different assumptions about themselves. Your imagination is more than a place where dreams exist. It is the workshop where your future is designed. The conversations you have with yourself, the expectations you nurture, and the identity you repeatedly accept become the foundation upon which your financial life is built. As your inner picture grows clearer and stronger, your outer world begins to align with it in ways that often seem surprising, proving that the wealth you seek first begins with the person you believe yourself to be. If you carefully observe people who create lasting wealth, you will notice that their greatest advantage is not simply what they own, but the habits of mind they practice every single day. These habits are invisible to most people because they happen quietly, long before any financial success becomes visible. While many allow fear to dominate their decisions, those who consistently build wealth learn to replace fear with thoughtful confidence. They understand that uncertainty is a natural part of growth, not a signal to stop moving forward. Instead of becoming overwhelmed by every challenge, they ask themselves what the situation is teaching them and how they can use it to become wiser. This simple shift transforms obstacles into opportunities for learning. They also refuse to let scarcity control their thinking. Rather than focusing on what they lack, they focus on the value they can create, the skills they can improve, and the solutions they can offer. This mindset opens doors because people who solve meaningful problems naturally become more valuable. Self-doubt, on the other hand, quietly drains energy and prevents action before failure even has a chance to occur. The wealthy recognize this pattern and deliberately choose assumptions that strengthen their confidence instead of weakening it. They understand that every belief repeated consistently becomes part of their identity, and identity shapes behavior. Their daily thoughts are not filled with complaints about circumstances, but with expectations of growth, improvement, and possibility. They train themselves to see abundance where others only notice limitation. This does not mean they never experience setbacks or disappointment. It means they refuse to let temporary events define who they are or what they believe is possible. As these mental habits become consistent, their decisions become clearer, their actions become more intentional, and their financial results begin reflecting the quiet transformation taking place within. The greatest wealth is often built first in the unseen discipline of the mind, where confidence replaces fear, abundance overcomes scarcity, and purpose gradually silences every voice of doubt. One of the most powerful shifts a person can make is to stop asking, "How do I become wealthy?" and begin asking, "Who must I become to naturally create wealth?" That single change redirects your attention from chasing external results to transforming your inner identity. Most people spend years pursuing money while secretly believing they are still the same person who lacks it. They celebrate temporary gains but continue thinking, speaking, and reacting from a mindset of limitation. Eventually, their outer circumstances return to match the identity they have never truly changed. Real transformation begins when you stop identifying with your past failures, financial struggles, or current circumstances. Instead, you begin to think, choose, and act from the perspective of the person you intend to become. Imagine someone who is calm under pressure, confident in making decisions, generous with value, disciplined with money, and grateful for every opportunity. That version of yourself does not wait for success before adopting those qualities. Those qualities are the very reason success becomes possible. Every decision you make either reinforces your old identity or strengthens your new one. When you repeatedly choose confidence over fear, possibility over limitation, and purpose over hesitation, your actions naturally begin to reflect your new self-image. Opportunities that once seemed intimidating become invitations to grow. Challenges become opportunities to demonstrate who you have chosen to be. This is not about pretending to possess something you do not have. It is about living from the conviction that your future identity is more real than your current limitations. As your inner world changes, your behavior changes with it. Your conversations become more optimistic, your goals become bolder, and your commitment becomes stronger. Over time, these consistent actions produce results that appear remarkable to others but feel completely natural to you. Wealth is no longer something you desperately chase because you have become the kind of person who naturally attracts, creates, manages, and expands it through the power of a transformed identity. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that chasing money is an endless race. The harder they run, the more distant financial freedom seems to become. They work longer hours, search for the perfect opportunity, and wait for the right circumstances, believing that one day everything will finally fall into place. But what if the greatest shift is not found in running faster, but in thinking differently? What if wealth is not something that must constantly be pursued, but something that begins to appear when you become aligned with the person capable of creating it? This perspective changes everything. Instead of waking each morning with anxiety about what is missing, you begin your day with gratitude for what is possible. Instead of measuring your worth by your bank balance, you measure it by the value you can create, the character you continue to develop, and the confidence you carry into every decision. This quiet transformation affects every part of your life. You stop making choices based on fear of loss and begin making choices based on faith in your ability to grow. You no longer see obstacles as signs that you should give up. You recognize them as opportunities to strengthen the qualities that lasting success requires. Every challenge becomes a chance to expand your thinking instead of shrinking your ambition. As this new perspective becomes your natural way of living, opportunities seem to appear more frequently, not because the world suddenly changed, but because your awareness changed. You begin noticing possibilities that fear once kept hidden. You build stronger relationships, make wiser financial decisions, and act with a calm confidence that others can feel. In time, you discover a truth that many people spend their entire lives overlooking. Wealth is not merely the accumulation of money. It is the reflection of a mind that has learned to believe in abundance, act with purpose, remain grateful through every season, and trust that the life imagined with conviction can gradually become the life experienced in reality. Before I leave you today, I want you to remember one simple truth. Money is never just about numbers. It is a reflection of the decisions you make, the beliefs you hold, and the identity you accept every single day. The greatest investment you will ever make is not in a stock, a business, or a piece of property. It is in transforming the way you think about yourself and the possibilities that exist for your life. If you continue to think as the person you were yesterday, tomorrow will look very much the same. But the moment you begin to see yourself as capable, resourceful, disciplined, and worthy of abundance, your actions will naturally begin to align with that vision. Small decisions will become powerful habits. Powerful habits will create remarkable results. And those results will eventually become the life that once existed only in your imagination. Never underestimate the quiet conversations you have with yourself. They are shaping your future even when nothing seems to be changing. Choose thoughts that strengthen you. Choose beliefs that expand your vision. Choose actions that reflect the person you are becoming, not the circumstances you are leaving behind. Remember, lasting wealth is built one decision, one habit, and one belief at a time. If this message has spoken to your heart, don't let it become another inspiring speech you forget tomorrow. Take one idea from today and begin living it immediately. Think differently. See yourself differently. Act differently. Your future is created by what you consistently believe and repeatedly do. Thank you for spending these moments with me. I truly appreciate your time, your attention, and your willingness to grow. If you found value in this message, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And if you're ready to continue transforming your mindset, your confidence, and your life, be sure to subscribe and join me for the next journey. Until then, believe in the possibilities before you can see them, live with purpose every day, and never stop becoming the person your dreams have been waiting for. Take care, and I'll see you in the next speech.